welcome to another episode of Dinner with Danny. I'm very excited about tonight's episode because a few things. I have some new fancy equipment. See, I'm really bright in the light. I have new light, I have tripods, I'm like all fancy and functional. Also, I'm excited because I got a new quarantine haircut. Not bad, huh? I'm also excited tonight because we're going to make chicken and broccoli in an orange marmalade soy sauce. We're going to add some red peppers, some mushrooms, orange marmalade, soy sauce, garlic, ginger, put it with white rice, and it's like Chinese takeout. So good. So good. Oh my God. I need a drink. And I thought of a new drinking game. Every time I say, okay, take a drink, you'll be shit-faced by the end of this episode. Because I'm always like, okay, chicken's done. Okay, I'm going to put the broccoli in now. Okay, we're ready to play. So there's 3 drinks right there. First thing I'm going to do is cut up my chicken. I got chicken tenders because they're already in strips, and then you just got to cut them a little bit. But this is a big thing of chicken tenders, so I'm going to just portion it out, and then I'm going to put some in a freezer bag and freeze the other half of them for another recipe some other time. All right, well, I'm going to portion this out, and then we'll start chopping. Okay. So I have portioned out my chicken tenders on my cutting board. And again, I'm using 2 cutting boards this time. One for chicken, can put that away, and then one for vegetables, so you don't get your chicken juice on your vegetables. So let's cut to camera 2, so I can show you how I cut the chicken tenders. So what I'm going to do with these is just cut them into little chunks, about an inch or so. I'm going to try to only touch them with one hand and not the other. And I often find with tenders, you always get this piece of cartilage, so I try to cut that out. That was kind of obvious. But it's usually toward the end, and it's this weird strip. So I'll try to, so I can see that, hit it on the diagonal. Just get rid of that, because that is going to be gross and chewy. And we don't want that on Dinner with Danny. We just want yummy and delicious. So I'm going to cut these quick, and then I will season them a little bit with salt and pepper, maybe some adobo and paprika, my 2 go-tos. I'm going to cook them, and then I'll take them out of the pan, and I'll put them on a plate, cover them with tin foil until they're ready to be added to the sauce. Or you can put them in the oven at like 275, but I usually just do the tin foil thing so that I don't dry them out by putting them back in the oven. Plus, I always forget to turn on the oven, so there's my knife. Okay, so now I touch it with both hands. Okay, but I want to spread these out into one layer so that I can season them all at once. And then when they're in the pan, I'll season the other side. Trying to get them close together so I don't just season the whole cutting board. Yeah, like a puzzle. There we go. All right, I want to wash my hands so I can pick up my salt and pepper. Okay, so I've washed my hands. Cleanliness is next to godliness. I think I'm drunk already. All right, I'm going to do a little salt and pepper on these. And my salt and pepper is already uncovered, so I don't have to touch it. Fiddle with it. And I'm going to do a little adobo, which I love, and just a little paprika for color. Sprinkle. Somebody commented that I'm all about the paprika, but I want to show you why. I think I'm going to do like half of these with paprika and half of them without, so you can see the difference. If they just look so blonde and it almost doesn't look appetizing, but you put a little color on them and it makes it just like you want to eat them. So let's just do this part. I'll leave a few. I have my tin foil and my plate all ready to go, so I don't have to scramble for it after I'm, taking them out of the pan. Speaking of that, I'm going to turn my stove on and start putting these in the pan. Okay, so I've put some extra virgin olive oil in the pan. Starting to heat that up on medium. And this pan is getting old, so things tend to stick. Hopefully it won't stick this recipe. If anybody wants to sponsor me and buy me new sets of pans, I would love that. Thanks, bye. Anyway, I'm gonna try and put these with the spice side down. Trying to work quickly. So here's a little trick I learned. Sometimes it's hard to get these tongs, get the chicken to cooperate with the tongs. So if you have a fork, you can kind of hold it so you can grab it and turn it. I found this out especially when you're trying to work with shrimp and the tongs just kind of slide the shrimp along. So we're going to try and put all these, the spicy side down. They're cooking really fast. I might have this on a little too high. Turn it down. Now these all have seasoning on them. Oh, I hit my camera on my tripod. You know, this production is, I need a production assistant now. All right, so now I'm going to add the ones that don't have any paprika on them, or hardly. So you can see the difference on what they'll look like. I'll put those over the side. Because I can say like, oh, it looks better, but until you see the difference, then you're going to get it, you know. So these all have some kind of seasoning on them, and these ones over here don't. Spread them out a little bit. I'm going to season this side for all of them. A little salt and pepper. Just a little more adobo. Because the soy sauce and the orange marmalade and the garlic and the ginger that we're going to use is going to have so much flavor. I don't have to season these a lot. So I'm going to let these cook and I'll flip them over and show you what it looks like. So these are pretty much done. So I'm going to put these on a plate and probably drain this oil. Remember, don't put it down the sink. Put it in like a tin can, like an old soup can or something. Alright, so they're on the plate. Now we can cover these. I'm going to drain my oil, clean out my pan a little bit, and then we'll start cutting vegetables and putting the recipe together. Let's have a drink. Okay. Dinner with Danny. So I drained my oil. I'm just going to wipe this out with a paper towel real quick. I'm not going to get too picky with it because we're going to be putting the chicken back in. So if it tastes like chicken juice, because it's in chicken. Shut up, Barbara. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to start my rice now. I'm just going to do a boil in a bag. Instant rice takes like 8 minutes, and then you just like empty the bag onto the plate. I'm spending so much time on the entree. I'm not going to worry about the side too much tonight. I'm just going to do instant boil in a bag. Success rice. Success. Hopefully it's success. Anyway, yeah, so you don't need to see that. Buy some rice. Or if you want to make some rice, I don't know if you're that ambitious, you can get a rice cooker or boil some rice, but I think it takes a long time, like half an hour. if you want to give it a little more flavor, you could cook it in chicken broth instead of in water. So, drink to that. Okay. My rice is in the works. I've started chopping some vegetables. Full disclosure, I did see this recipe on Rachel Ray a long time ago, but she used broccolini. It was just chicken and broccolini. And I went to find that in the supermarket, and broccolini is crazy expensive. It's insane. So I got just broccoli crowns, you know? And if you are shopping for broccoli, and if you don't eat the big stem there, get broccoli crowns. They're a little more expensive per pound, I think, but if you're just going to cut this off the other one and throw it away, like what's the point of paying for that weight? Anyway, so I'm just going to chop into these right across there, and they all kind of fall apart. That I don't use. All right, so I haven't made this one in a long time. This is one of my husband's favorites, isn't it, dear?
Oh, yes, it is.
He's always like, when are you going to make your chicken marmalade again? When are you going to make your orange chicken marmalade again? So I'm going to cut these into smaller pieces. Remember, if they're already in bite-sized pieces, you don't have to cut them when they're on your plate. You just pick them up and eat them. So Rachel Ray used the broccolini. I just used the broccoli. And then I decided to add red pepper. I discovered that red peppers and broccoli go really well together. It's a really good combination. So I started adding red pepper to mine. And then tonight, I'm feeling crazy. I'm going to add some mushrooms too. Because I feel like it's going to be like Chinese takeout. And I think the mushrooms are going to give it a little more Asian flair, if you will. I don't know. Shut up, Barbara. All right. For our red pepper, I'm going to slice it lengthwise. And just reach in and pull out the top, pull out the ribs. Shake out the seeds. And these I'm going to cut into strips. Again, shiny side down. Get rid of the ribs. If you cut this on the angle like this, that goes away, and then you just have cut, cut, cut. I originally added the red pepper for color, but then I discovered the two flavors were so good together. So I use them a lot together. And I think the next episode we're going to do a shrimp recipe, but after that, maybe we'll do a shrimp stir fry with all these amazing vegetables I keep getting. Yeah, something to look forward to. I'm not just a meat and potato guy. Yeah, if you watch my intro video, I grew up eating like shake and bake pork chops with instant mashed potatoes. When I was a kid, all I would eat was SpaghettiOs and peanut butter and jelly. Sometimes my mother would make spaghetti meatballs, but I was so picky I wouldn't eat like anything. So now I try to mix it up. I eat a lot of vegetables. I have to say I don't eat a lot of fruit, but I'm going to cut these in half again, so they're kind of bite size already, and then you don't have to cut them while they're on your dish, on your plate. Yeah. And again, colors, colors, colors. Mushrooms. I cut off the ends, the stems, because the ends get really hard and gross. Okay. And then I also want to get it so it sits flat, pretty much. Okay. And then I get my little handy dandy, I think it's for hard-boiled eggs and tomatoes, but this we found out a couple episodes ago, it works well for mushrooms. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, I usually don't put mushrooms in this, but I think it will really work well. Because it's sort of like almost like an Asian stir fry, but it's definitely like a Chinese takeout dish. It's so good. Orange marmalade with soy sauce, ginger and garlic. I think this is the first recipe I ever used ginger in. And ginger and garlic, what a great combination. It's just like everything in Chinese food has ginger and garlic, it seems. So they know what they're doing. Did you hear that applause? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. I need a drink. Okay? I love listening to classical music while I cook. Just soothes me. Alright. You could just cut these by hand, but I thought since I have this nice thing. Somebody asked me not just to talk about cooking, but to talk about what gadgets, what tools that they should have if they've never really cooked. So I thought that was a really interesting question. Again, you know I love my food scraper, so I can just scrape it all up all at once. And I love my garlic press. We're going to do garlic in the food processor today. So if you have a food processor, you can get a little cheap one for like, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. That's the one we're going to use tonight. Or I have a big like KitchenAid one for bigger stuff. We're going to get a big batch of salsa. Ooh, we'll do salsa. I just bought cilantro today for my herb garden. I'm going to do little herbs outside. I have cilantro. I'm going to have fresh parsley so I can garnish. I'm going to have some oregano. And I got lemon thyme. Oh my God, I got that last year. It was so, it smells like lemon. And next week's recipe, pepper shrimp with lemon thyme butter. Oh my God, it's so good. We'll get there. All right, so my vegetables are cut up and I'm going to put the peppers in because they take the longest. And then we'll start on our attacking our ginger and our garlic. We'll make our sauce. All right. So I'm just going to put another swirl of extra virgin olive oil into the pan. Just a little bit so everything doesn't stick. Oops, swirl that around. I mean, I don't want like fried vegetables like I'm doing tempura or something, but like I said, this pan sticks because it's so old. I've used it so many times. So if you want to sponsor me and buy me new pans. Shameless plug by Dennis Swain. Alright, I'm going to put these peppers in. Turn these down to kind of medium-low. And let's salt and pepper these. I don't think I need adobo on these. I'm just going to do a little salt and pepper. Alright, to start our sauce, we are going to grind some ginger and some garlic in my little mini food processor. Remember, when you're doing garlic, all you got to do is give it a whack, cut off that flat side, oops, and you should be able to just kind of pinch the other side. Sometimes it doesn't work. Maybe it will help. There you go. And then you might want to cut off the tip of the other side too, because sometimes it gets a little green. I'm just going to cut this in half, throw that in my food processor, slam it, cut it. I'm using 2 cloves of garlic, so it's going to be garlicky. Ginger. So here's a tip. I got this one from Rachel Ray. Love you, Rachel Ray. If you're watching, invite me on your show. When you're peeling ginger, don't use a potato peeler, you know, like this. Use a spoon. And I tried this earlier today. I'm like, oh my God, it works. So, if you can see this here, I'm just using a smaller spoon, and it digs right into it. And you can peel that. This is a big piece of garlic. I mean, I keep saying garlic. This is a big piece of ginger. And I'm not going to use it all, but I'm pretty sure you can freeze ginger. Honey, can you freeze ginger?
Absolutely.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
No.
That's my husband. He's kind of like Stanley Walker on Will and Grace. You always hear about him, but you'll never see him. All right, so we want to peel our it's not garlic. Ginger. We want to peel our ginger. And I'm just going to use about an inch and a half on this one. Because I have a lot of vegetables, a lot of chicken, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to do, an inch and a half. And then I'll cut that into a couple pieces just so it's easier to chop up into the thing. The thing. I don't know. Shut up, Barbara. In the food processor. Oh, I need my EVOO. Okay. So I chopped up some garlic and some ginger loosely. 2 cloves of garlic, about an inch and a half of ginger. And I'm going to drizzle a little EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. My sister-in-law, Sandy, told me that you should be adding the olive oil as it's going. So I don't know if that's true, but thanks, Sandy. Here's to you. Okay. I'm going to grind this up a little bit. Chop. But this doesn't have a little spout on the top, so I'm going to have to kind of now add something. That's a lot. Just a little bit to kind of loosen it up so it's not just like dry chunks. And a little spatula. Get that down there. Now, I would never think to put garlic and orange marmalade together, but this is one of my favorite recipes. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, so speaking of gadgets, some of my other favorite things that I really use a lot is my potato peeler. Use it for carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes. No longer for ginger, though. Use a spoon. You know, I love my garlic press. And it's so stupid, but I love these little stupid shears, like for cutting leaves off your basil plants and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm fancy. I have fancy shears. I got these at the dollar store for like $1. I got these at the dollar store. Fancy. Shut up, Barbara. And then my other favorite thing is the can opener that opens this way instead of this way, and leaves no sharp edges. So those are some of my favorite gadgets. And I love these pepper and salt and pepper things, where they have a light. So when you're adding salt and pepper to your stuff, you can see what you're doing, and then it covers up. First few episodes, I was like, la 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 la. I'm like, oh, I didn't take the cover off. So the next step is we're going to add our orange marmalade and our soy sauce to the pan. And just get that orange marmalade. If you don't use it, it's with the peanut butter and jelly in the peanut butter and jelly aisle. All right. So I'm going to do, I never measure anything, but I remember I want more marmalade than I want soy sauce. So it's 2/3 cup of marmalade and a 1/2 cup of soy sauce. I always get the low sodium soy sauce because it's very salty. This is a left-handed cup. All right. 2/3, a little more. And I always do the marmalade first because then you can kind of swish it around with the soy sauce to get out the extra. And it doesn't have to be precise. Again, if you like more marmalade, put more marmalade. You like more soy sauce, put more soy sauce. You're eating it. I'm going to put this in the pan now. Move some of these around. See, this pan's getting gross. Alright. So just going to put that right in the middle. Looks like a lot, right? But then we're going to do half a cup of soy sauce. Half a cup. Alright, I'm going to add that. Nice. I'm going to add a mixture of garlic and ginger. And then the smell is just going to explode. It's going to be so aromatic. And that's why I'm just doing it over white rice, because this has so much flavor. I could do it over angel hair, or one thing you can do is if you get whole wheat spaghetti and you break it in half and boil that, when it comes out, it's like brown noodles. So it's like having it over noodles, even though it's like whole wheat pasta. So it looks like a real like Chinese takeout. But I'm going to do it over white rice because this already has so much flavor. I think the white rice will kind of mellow it out a little bit. So I'm going to give this a little stir, mix it all together. I'm going to put our broccoli and our mushrooms and our chicken back in there. And let that all cook together. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I had it on really low because I didn't want to overdo the peppers. Ah, it smells like Chinese food. So I'm going to add my chicken. Get a plate. It's still warm. And it looks delicious. So I'm just going to put all that in there. It seems like a lot of sauce, but wait till you see when we put everything in. Alright, my handy dandy little scooper. Vegetables. Broccoli, add the mushrooms at the same time. Broccoli takes 2 seconds, so if you cover it, it's going to steam. It's going to get that bright green color. Again, overcooked broccoli stinks. Don't overcook it. Don't. Okay. So back to my pan in camera 2. Oh, look at that. So just to review, we salt and peppered our chicken, and we did it in cubes, and salt and peppered it, a little paprika, in olive oil, maybe 5 minutes each side, maybe 3 minutes each side. Put that aside, and then we chopped up our vegetables. We got red peppers in strips, we got our broccoli, we got our little mushrooms. All right. Get those all ready to go, and then we did our sauce, which was ground up garlic and ginger. Peel the ginger with a spoon. A little olive oil in there. 2/3 cup orange marmalade. Half a cup of soy sauce. Put that in the pan. Put your garlic mixture in the pan. Swirl it all up. Put back the chicken, the broccoli, and the mushrooms. We're going to let it sit for 5 minutes maybe. And we're going to cover it. And it's going to be done. Oh yeah, I need to drink those lower. Doesn't that just look like a Chinese dish? Okay, we are ready to plate. It is smelling so good in here, like ginger and garlic. Anyway, we're gonna plate. And look at that. Ooh, that was so good. And then I thought for a fancy garnish, since we're doing our orange marmalade, I took a slice of orange, just cut it here, and then you just twist it, and have a little garnish. Oops. Yeah, maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, let's just. There we go. Doesn't that look lovely? Let's eat. All right, look at how my husband set the table so fancy. These little napkin rings. And here we are. Let's see how this tastes. Okay. Let's try this. I made it in so long. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, so yummy. The white rice was a good call. All right. I hope you get to make this, and I hope you love it. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you to all my subscribers. A special shout out to my brother Donnie down in Florida, who's telling people about my channel. Thanks, Donnie. And don't forget, if you don't eat, you'll die. Food for thought.